Welcome to the another new episode of r/Am I the Bad Guy? Story is posted by backup account. Am I the bad guy for laughing at my ex and her husband for asking to have our daughter for another month? For some context, I'm a man, age of 46, was married to my ex-wife Ida, age of 46, for 21 years before she cheated, and remarried to her now dick of a husband Dan, age of 48. We have 4 kids together. Henry, age of 28, Zach, age of 26, Cam, age of 25, and Rory, age of 15. This situation only really involves Rory. Since my boys were teens or young adults, when we divorced they got to choose who they lived with. Rory on the other hand didn't. I have Rory most of the time. I pay for her schooling, medical extracurriculars, etc. While Ida and Dan get her every other holiday, and don't really pay for stuff. Well, for the 4th of July Rory went over to Ida and Dan's, then stayed there until about a week before school started. Rory confided in me that the whole time she was there, she couldn't really do anything fun and was stuck watching her younger siblings while Dan and Ida went out. She told me she felt like a babysitter more than a daughter, which hurt my heart for Rory since she was really excited to see her mother. She also told me she'd like to stick with visits again and not staying for a whole month or 2. Well, about 2 nights ago I got a call from Ida. She seemed happy and started talking about Rory and how she liked it there. She continued to ramble a bit before asking for me to ask Rory about staying another month. I laughed, which caused Ida to be mad, and she hung up. Dan texted me calling me an idiot for laughing at her, and my brother said it was kind of mean to do. Am I the bad guy? Edit. I honestly didn't mean to laugh. I don't know why I did. People have given some comments on this post. Let's see. Not the bad guy. When someone says something laughably ridiculous, you laugh. It was a natural reaction and I don't blame you one bit. If I had to guess, she probably believed that, since she and Rory probably don't get along, nor have the same relationship you and Rory have, she assumed Rory didn't tell you anything about being their babysitter. Oh well. Looks like your ex hasn't given up her penchant for lying. Not the bad guy. Protect your daughter if she feels that she doesn't want to go there anymore or wants to restrict her visits because of her mother's actions. Support her in this. You are doing the right thing by your child, and that is all you need to do. Not the bad guy. Your daughter is 15. She can choose who she wants to live with. Make a request to the judge to change custody, and make a request for her mother to pay her share of her daughter's expenses. Not the bad guy. You saw through your ex's BS, and she got upset with it. Sounds like you're doing what's best for your daughter, and Ida and Dan are upset about not having a free sitter any longer. Not the bad guy. She's calling you to ask Rory because if she asks Rory herself, she knows she will say no. But if it comes from you, maybe she has a chance to get herself a free live-in nanny. Let's read today's second news story, posted by Zealous Ideal T5062. Am I the bad guy for refusing to stop kissing my own baby? My husband, age of 25, and I, F25, have a 6-week-old daughter. She's our first baby, and the first grandchild in both of our families. We were advised by our pediatrician to not allow anyone besides ourselves to kiss our baby for the first 8 to 12 weeks minimum. This has been communicated to both of our families, who have been respectful of this, as well as our other boundaries or rules, despite a little bit of grumbling about it from his side. Last weekend we were over at my in-laws' house, and I had just finished breastfeeding my daughter, so she was all sleepy. I kissed her forehead before settling her to nap on my chest. My mill noticed and immediately remarked on it in a super passive-aggressive manner. Oh, I'm so glad that we are able to kiss baby now. Did your pediatrician update the rules? I was super confused and asked her what she meant and that the pediatrician's recommendation hadn't changed. She then accused me of violating the rules by kissing my own baby. I told her that the recommendation was that no one besides myself and my husband kiss our daughter, and she argued and heavily implied that I was being dishonest because I'd previously said nobody can kiss the baby rather than nobody but husband and I can kiss the baby. She went on and on about this until I snapped that it should have been obvious that the rules we told her regarding our baby were about what we would or wouldn't allow other people to do. She called me a hypocrite, so I got up and shut myself in the guest room while my daughter continued to nap on me. A little while later Mill came in and apologized, claiming it was a knee-jerk reaction and she was just confused and upset. She said she understands now that the rule only applies to other people. She then asked me if I would avoid kissing my baby in front of her until she's allowed to do so as well, because it's upsetting to see me doing that and knowing that she can't. I told her I can understand that it's frustrating to have strong urge to kiss a baby and not be able to, but I'm personally not going to stop kissing my own baby for the sake of her feelings. Miller's calling me disrespectful and a hypocrite and has gotten Sil on board with this as well. Am I the bad guy? People have given some comments on this post. Let's see. Not the bad guy. What's next? Is she going to ask you to stop breastfeeding in front of her since she doesn't get to do it too? She needs to back off. Not the bad guy. If you like, I'd be happy to politely tell your Mill to go to hell. In all honesty, your spouse needs to deal with this. The rule should always be your parent, your problem, accepting those handful of situations where the in-laws like the spouse more than their own kid. Not the bad guy. You don't have a baby kissing problem. You have a mother-in-law problem. Solution: don't go near either of them with the baby and then they won't have to see a damned thing. Not the bad guy. Not the bad guy. This is a perfect opportunity for some malicious compliance, though. If she doesn't want to see you kiss your baby because it's so hard, you guys should stop visiting her entirely until the baby is older. You're just respecting her wishes. Let's read today's third news story, posted by Princess Wedding. Am I the a-hole? Am I the bad guy for saying no to dressing as a Disney princess for a wedding? I'm a girl age of 24, so I'm friends with Holly, age of 28, who is getting married next summer. Holly has always been a Disney girly, and I wasn't surprised when she told me and the other bridesmaids she wanted us to dress as Disney princesses. Holly is going to wear a huge, glittery, glammed up ball gown, and we'll be in dresses that are more of a modern take on the princesses' dresses, but there will be text on the invite stating which bridesmaid is which princess, and which groom is which prince. There are 5 of us, and she wants us each in a different color, so she has chosen Ariel, pink, Cinderella, blue, Belle, yellow, Rapunzel, purple, and Shiana, green. She picked who would be who for us, and told me that she wants me as Shiana, since I have black hair. The problem is, I'm white. The entire bridal party is white. You can see why I'm not feeling this choice. I brought it up privately with Holly and tried to suggest alternatives for green, Merida from Brave or Anna from Frozen, but she shot them down. Merida's dress is actually blue, plus she has no prince, and she doesn't like Frozen. I told Holly that I will not be Shiana for her wedding, and that I'm stepping down unless she accepts one of the alternatives or provides another. She called me a mad and a terrible friend and said nobody is going to care. I told her that I care, and I'm not doing it. I've gotten some Facebook messages from some of her family or friends asking why I'm being so difficult and why I'm trying to ruin Holly's wedding, and even a couple of the bridesmaids have told me to just f*** it up because I'm throwing Holly's plan out of whack. I'm standing my ground on this, but the pushback kind of has me wondering if I'm making something out of nothing. Am I the bad guy? Edit. Bride only asked me to get a tan. Nowhere did I comment saying she asked everyone. Even if I had done so and deleted the comment, someone in this thread would still be able to find it, or at least the deleted marker in one of the comment threads. People have given some comments on this post. Let's see. I don't think anyone would be offended if you were dressed as Shiana or a modern take on Shiana unless you wore blackface. I'm assuming she doesn't want you to do that. TBH, I think it's worse that you're making such a big deal out of this. It really comes off as virtue signaling, as most anyone would tell you that it's okay to dress as a character from a different race, as long as you are respectful. Darken your skin? Get dreadlocks? Then yes, you are the bad guy. Wear a Shiana-inspired dress? Completely fine. I'm saying this as a black woman. You are overreacting. If she was asking you to do blackface or something else offensive, then I would back you, but wearing a modern take on her dress, you can chill out. I honestly think you're making it a bigger deal than it has to be. Yes, you are the bad guy. Yes, you are the bad guy. Unless she's asking you to do blackface. Black girls can dress up as Elsa, and white folks can dress to like Mulan or Shiana, and brown girls can be Rapunzel and Asian girls can be Merida. Stop complicating. Let's read today's fourth news story, posted by individual source 7810. Am I the bad guy for teaching my son to call me dad against his mother's wishes? I had a one-night stand with a woman, Mary, I didn't know at a party in 2016. About a year ago someone reached out and told me she knew Mary and her now 6-year-old son was mine. This person hadn't known my name until meeting another friend of mine, and they figured it out. Apparently Mary had started dating someone, John, just after we hooked up, then found out she was pregnant. Mary and John got serious, got married, and John adopted my son. After I found out, I got a lawyer and filed for custody in my state. Mary and John fought me through the whole process, telling me not to break up their family. They have a younger daughter. After lots of legal fees, I finally forced a paternity test and got every other weekend. My intent is to keep pushing until I have 50/50 custody. I looked into reversing the adoption, but it is basically impossible, so I'll probably have to wait until my son is 18 and then do it with his consent. I have been having my son over for the past few months and it's been great. He gets along great with my GF too. He understands that I'm his father, but of course he calls John dad. I'm not trying to get him to stop that, because I don't want to confuse him or make him uneasy, but last weekend I did tell him that he can call me dad too instead of Mr. last name, like his mom told him to. He seemed fine with it and called me dad while he was with me. His mom found out and has been pestering me all week, saying I'm a sperm donor and John is his real dad and she'll take me to court for parental alienation. The last thing she said was that I can be an uncle, but my son only has one dad. I'm ignoring most of what she said, but I'm wondering if am I the bad guy for asking my son to call me dad in this situation. Edit. Some people are asking how I could gain parental rights adoption. It is possible, because I did not consent to the adoption, and Mary claimed she did not know the father. The birth certificate was blank for father. John decided to adopt when my son was 1 year old, and he got married to Mary. People have given some comments on this post. Let's see. She's going to take you to court for parental alienation? Oh, I'd love to see that one. Your Honor, this man that I slept with sperm donated a baby into my womb. I never told him and lied about knowing who he was so that I could have my new husband adopt him. I then fought tooth and nail to keep them from ever meeting and getting to know each other. This man actually told his son that he could call him dad, causing our son to be alienated from his adoptive father. In case my opinion is not clear, you are not the bad guy and there is no reason this kid can't have two dads. Not the bad guy, and it's great that you clearly want to be a parent to your child that you just found out about. I do kind of hope you've spoken with a child therapist to make sure you're handling this as best you can to help your child understand what's happening and get him help if he needs some help processing everything. And you could always approach other terms for dad, like pop, pa, dad, dado, daddy-o, abab, babo, etc., and see what you can come up with and what he's comfortable with. Plenty of kids have two dads, and I hope you can all find peace. The more love a kid has, the better. Super not the bad guy. In a world filled with dads abandoning their kids or doing the bare minimum, you have fought to be more. In a situation where you have more than enough reason to hate her and make this a mess, you didn't. You considered nearly everything to make this as good for your kid as possible. In a situation where all the resentment towards John would be normal, even if it would undeserved, since we don't know if he knew what she did, you didn't go there. You have done everything right. It's sad to see how many pathetic people are attacking you. Keep your head up. Your son calling you dad is a beautiful thing. So not let her ruin any more of your life. Can you imagine how the son would feel if he wanted to look for his bio dad, only to be told his dad never knew about him? What Mary did was wrong, so wrong. She should have given you the option, because in the long run I believe it will cause more damage than good. He would hold resentment towards his mom for doing that, and who knows what emotional damage. This is coming from someone who's been through that. I'm glad the bio dad found him and showed he wanted him. You keep it up, OP, and don't let that woman stop you from being a dad to your own son. not the bad guy, and I can't imagine why anyone would think you are. Mary created this situation. Kinda seems like she could have found you cause the post reads like you'll have mutual friends and still live in the same area. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to know your child. A child should be able to know their father. You missed out on 6 years of his life through no fault of your own. And giving the kid the option to call you dad and then the child doing so is a great thing. I hope his mother isn't hearing him say any of the things that she is. Kids hear so much. My mom divorced my dad when I was young. Maybe 1.5 years. He was abusive and an alcoholic, but still got that weekend custody. Almost killed me one time during a visit. He wasn't the greatest. But even at 3 years old, I will never forget the tone of his voice and how he spoke to me when he found out I was calling the man my mother was with now dad. He said horrible things and basically called me stupid for not knowing who your dad is. I hate that I even remember that. Obviously I'm not saying you or this Mary person are like my dad, but words hurt and stick with you, and your son is twice the age I was. Tread lightly and keep records of all communications. Let's read today's 5th news story, posted by Mayhem Babies. Am I the bad guy for telling my brother that I told him so and that his personality is the problem? I'm a female, age of 28, and my brother, age of 30, has always been a bit my way or the highway. He also loves to tell you that he told you so if you dare to do something differently to his suggestion and it goes the wrong way. My brother's wife, Cindy, age of 29, is honestly an angel of a person, and her patience is never ending. I genuinely believe that their marriage is held together by her patience, because I would have had it with my brother a long time ago. They were married 5 years ago, and Cindy gave birth to a beautiful baby boy a month ago. During the pregnancy, whenever I would ask about names, Cindy always said that they had not been able to agree on anything yet. During these conversations, my brother would say, well, we all know what I think we should name the baby, and it is up to Cindy to come up with something better if she doesn't like it. Cindy would always laugh when my brother said this and would say something about finding something they both agreed on, but it certainly seemed like my brother had made up his mind. For reference, the name my brother was adamant about was Joseph, which Cindy really disliked. By the time Cindy went into labor, her and my brother had a short list of 3 names, which Cindy said they would choose from once they had met the baby and seen his face. Joseph was not on the list. Unfortunately, there were some complications during the birth, and Cindy had to be rushed to emergency surgery while my brother dealt with all the paperwork. I'm sure you can see where this is going. He put Joseph on the birth certificate while Cindy was unconscious. It seems that this was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Cindy has filed for divorce. My brother is suddenly crying to the world and their dog that his wife's pregnancy and postpartum hormones have gotten the better of her, and she is throwing away their lives over a temper tantrum. He also said that she would come to realize Joseph is a good or strong name. I admit, it was probably not my finest moment, but I have been telling my brother for years that Cindy's patience would come to an end, and so I said that I had told him so. I also told him that I will do anything and everything I can to support Cindy through this, and that if he is looking for someone to blame, it is 100% on him and his my way or the highway personality. I said that no reasonable or kind person would have used their wife being unconscious as an opportunity to get their own way. Now my family are telling me I use this as an opportunity to be vindictive rather than supportive, and I can't possibly understand what divorce is like. My mom, age of 58, told me that I have clearly been holding a grudge against my brother and couldn't wait to rub his face in something. She has said that I'm not invited to any family events until I apologize to my brother and promise to support him in the divorce over Cindy. People have given some comments on this post. Let's see. Not the bad guy. Your brother is a total bad guy for doing that to his wife, and his my way or the highway personality just makes it worse. Does it they're getting divorced? Definitely. Did he bring it upon himself? Totally. I hope Cindy gets the support she needs, and glad for her you're in her corner. Hopefully your brother can come around and see that he totally Does your family see nothing wrong with your brother's behavior in general, or what he did regarding his wife? I get being there to support him during a divorce, but they can't honestly be telling him he isn't the cause and did nothing wrong. To be fair, you probably could have been a bit more tactful in telling him he was in the wrong, but he had it coming and really deserved to hear it straight up. Not the bad guy. Your brother is a real piece of work. Your mother isn't far behind. Why on earth would you support someone who so clearly has no interest in supporting anyone but himself? I really hope you never apologize to him, as he deserves to go through life knowing just how much he screwed up. Cindy deserves all the support, and if at all possible, you should help her take your brother to the cleaners. She should get a ton of spousal support to make up for how little she got while they were married, a ton of child support to make up for all the times he will likely let his child down, and first pick of all the marital assets and whatnot, just because. Not the bad guy. People who espouse my way or the highway seem to always have a problem when people choose the highway. Not the bad guy. Someone had to tell him. And him, knowing there were 3 names on the list and picking one not on it while she was unconscious is as clear as anything. He doesn't take anyone else's views into consideration. He saw a shot to get what he wanted and took it. Stick by Sydney. She'll need someone. And maybe do research on name change laws in your state if that seems like what she wants to do. Looks like Cindy is your new family if she and hers will have you. Hopefully. Joseph, as a placeholder, will be given the correct name after they correct the birth certificate.